Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Friday, April the 8th. We got a pretty decent sized Friday night slate, 9 games tonight. And, as always guys, we're going to talk through each one of these 9 games. We're going to break down each team, kind of give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on Thursday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will build out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players that specifically stand out to me at first look on both DK and on Yahoo. But before we get started, guys, hit that like button down below. Always appreciate the likes. Hit that subscribe button as well if you are new here. And also, check out the sponsor of this video, Prize Picks. Go sign up for Prize Picks. Use code NOAH when you do, and Prize Picks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Now, for those of you that are new here and if maybe you've never heard of Prize Picks, they're a player prop based DFS site, so it's very simple. You're just picking the over or the under on players' projections. You're not having to build out a lineup, compete against other players. It's just you versus their projections. So you can take a look at their board for Friday night's games. Obviously, at the time I'm making this video, there's really not much posted. But obviously, as we get closer to tip-off Friday night, there'll be a ton of options. They'll have props up for every single game, and you can take a look at their board, see if there's any that stand out to you. Make your selections one way or the other, over or under. As always, I will have my video posted, in the afternoon, sometime in the early afternoon on Friday. I'll actually have a video posted to my YouTube channel. Another video that I'll make, a Prize Picks specific one that talking through some of my favorite plays for Prize Picks. So if you already play on Prize Picks, make sure you check out that video. I'll upload it early Friday afternoon, talking through a couple of my favorite plays for tonight's slate. But let's talk through this 9-gamer. Do want to tell you guys that this is going to be my last video for the regular season. I normally don't upload on the weekends, and obviously the regular season ends on Sunday. I won't have a video up for the Saturday or Sunday slate. And then, after Sunday, it'll, the playoffs will start. I do plan on making content during the playoffs. I don't think I'm going to live stream during the playoffs. That was something I kind of decided, but I still will be making videos. I'll still be making Prize Picks videos as well during the playoffs, and I'm super excited for the playoffs. At this point in the regular season, with just the tanking and the resting guys, I'm just kind of tired of it at this point. I'm ready for, competitive games. I'm ready for guys to play full minutes, and, we'll get that next week when the playoffs start, but we got one more, slate to talk over. So let's start off with the first game of the night, Milwaukee and Detroit. And speaking of resting, I have a good feeling that Milwaukee might be resting some guys here. Milwaukee did play against Boston on Thursday. It was a really close game. I know most of the starters played pretty big minutes. Giannis played. Let's see, I don't think the game log's updated. Let me check. Let me check Yahoo. So Giannis played 38 minutes in that game against Boston on Thursday. It was a high-scoring game. They won by 6. With this being a back-to-back facing Detroit, one of the worst teams in the league, I would be really surprised if they play Giannis here. Honestly, I think there's a good chance that Giannis, Drew, and Middleton all rest. We've seen on back-to-backs lately they've been resting all their starters for the most part. So I think there's a good chance some of these guys are out today. For now, I'm going to assume they play because I can't really, there's no point in me making this video and saying, they're going to be out. I just think there's a very good chance they're going to be out. At this point in the season, making content the night before is pretty much pointless anyway because there's just going to be so much news that comes out during the day. Teams are on back-to-backs. There's always going to be resting. There's always going to be guys that get rested on back-to-backs at this point in the season. So you're going to have to pay attention to the injury news regardless today, as you always have to. But for Milwaukee, if everyone is in, Giannis in this matchup should crush. Detroit is going to have no answer for Giannis. I obviously worry about blowout here, though. I don't know what the line is for this game right now. See, right now, Detroit's only 6.5-point dogs. I mean, there's no way in hell Detroit's almost, they're only 6.5-point dogs if Giannis, Drew, and Middleton are all playing. So that line right there makes me assume that somebody is sitting. If Detroit's only 6.5-point dogs, normally in this scenario, Detroit would be 14-point dogs. So definitely going to see some of these guys sit probably. But if Giannis is playing and this game somehow stays close, I mean, Giannis can definitely crush because Detroit is going to have no answer for him. Drew and Middleton, I don't really ever play that often when Giannis is healthy. Maybe if Giannis sits and then Drew and Middleton play, then obviously they would both look like great options. But right now, I don't love a ton of Milwaukee outside of Giannis. But I think this is definitely going to be a team we have to revisit later in the day because I have a feeling there's going to be some guys that get rested here. We'll have to pay attention to the injury report from Milwaukee. That's going to be really important. But let's move on to the next game. Talk about the other side of this game. With Detroit. So Detroit's not a team I'm super high on right now either. They're kind of in tank mode. They're pretty much most of the starters are kind of getting capped a little bit with minutes. Now Cade Cunningham did play a lot of minutes last game. He played 38 minutes, but Is Cade Cunningham going to play 38 minutes on a nightly basis right now? I don't really know. Sadiq Bey was not great last game. He still played decent minutes as well. I think these guys are the safest options from Detroit. But in general, Detroit's a team I just don't really want to target right now. They're kind of spreading out the minutes for the most part. They do have a lot of guys they can give minutes to. And, they're in tank mode right now, develop mode. They're trying to see what they have in some of these younger guys. It's just a team I'm not super high on. Plus, if Milwaukee comes into this game fully healthy, then obviously this game has a ton of blowout risk. But Cade, Sadiq, they have upside, but I just don't think on this slate I'm really going to be looking to many Pistons. So let's move on to the next game, talk about the Knicks and the Wizards. So looking at the Knicks today, even though they've been eliminated from the playoffs, they're still playing games like they're playing for playoff seeding. Thibodeau is one of those coaches that he's totally against tanking. He wants to play his guys huge minutes every night. So RJ Barrett, even with nothing to play for, is still getting massive minutes. He played 45 minutes last game, and that was in regulation. Just unreal. Obviously, his role is going to be really good without Julius Randle. Does he play 45 minutes today? Obviously not, but he probably gets 36 to 40, and I think against the Wizards, a bad defensive team like Barrett's definitely viable today. Burks and Quickly at their price tags, I'm not super high on. I still think Obi Toppin's fine. At 6,200, I think he does have the upside to pay off this price tag, and he also played huge minutes last game. He played 43 minutes. We know Obi Toppin is a young guy. They want to develop. They want to see what they have in him. So I expect these last few games for the Knicks, they're going to be playing Obi Toppin big minutes. And against the Wizards, a bad defensive team, I think Obi Toppin does offer upside here. I think the minutes are going to be really high, so I'm fine going to Obi Toppin. And Mitchell Robinson's out again, so you'll see Jericho Sims probably start at center. Sims started at center last game. He did play really big minutes, and he played really well. The matchup here against the Wizards is pretty good, so I think Jericho Sims is actually a pretty good value today. I think he does stand out as a strong value. He's not been a great point per minute player this season, but it was at least good to see, him play as many minutes as he did last game. That kind of makes me think that Tibbs, wants to see what he has in Jericho Sims. Obviously, Sims is a young guy as well, so I think the minutes are going to continue to be really good for Jericho Sims. And at 3,700, he does stand out as a pretty good value play at first look, and he's really cheap on Yahoo. He's minimum salary over there, or $13, excuse me. So I think on Yahoo at $13, if you're paying down at center, Jericho Sims is someone I do have interest in. Matchup against Porzingis, one I'm not super scared of. There's a little bit of foul trouble risk there, but the Wizards have been pretty bad defensively against bigs. Porzingis has never been an elite defender by any means, so I'm fine going to Jericho Sims here. I think the minutes will be pretty good, regardless of game script. And again, he's one of their young guys, so I think the minutes should be pretty good for Sims here. I'd be really surprised if Taj Gibson plays 32 minutes in a meaningless game. You would think this is going to be a time for the Knicks to see what they have in Jericho Sims. So yeah, that's what I'm liking on the Knicks for today. Now on the other side with the Wizards, there's not much that stands out here. Porzingis 8,700. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Porzingis is even still playing at this point with the Wizards eliminated from the playoffs. Why are they running Porzingis out there when he's obviously an injury-prone player? But he's been playing really well in the games he's played in. His minutes have been pretty good too. Matchup here against the Knicks, especially without Mitchell Robinson and without Julius Randle, Porzingis should be able to have a lot of success against Jericho Sims and against against Taj Gibson. So I'm fine going to Porzingis. I don't think he's a standout play by any means, but he's viable. The rest of the Wizards, though, this is a team, man, when they're fully healthy with the guys they have now. Obviously, Kuzma's still out, but Denny Avdia, his price tag never looks that appealing. KCP never looks appealing to me. Rui's been playing better lately, but I think at 5,300, he's priced kind of where he should be. And then you have Ish Smith, who's been playing well off the bench. I don't hate going to Ish Smith. He has shown some big time upside. Minutes should be pretty decent here. I would think he probably plays 24, 25 minutes at least. So if I had to play anyone outside of Porzingis, it would probably be Ish Smith. But in general, these other guys from the Wizards, they just don't offer the upside, the consistent upside that makes me want to roster them, especially not on a 9-game slate where there's most likely going to be other value that opens up as the day goes on. So let's move on to the next game, Cleveland and Brooklyn. So looking at Cleveland today, I do believe that Evan Mobley is expected to play today. He's expected to play, so Evan Mobley should be back. Obviously, him coming back is huge for Cleveland. It's definitely huge for their defense. I think it's a little boost for Darius Garland. Darius Garland does benefit when Mobley's out there because Mobley's a guy that he can feed the ball to, he can get assists to. Garland's going to have a huge role regardless, and I think this matchup against Brooklyn is pretty good for him. Brooklyn's not a great defensive team by any means. The price tag on Garland doesn't make him a standout pay-up option to me. I think I'd rather get up to KD, who we'll talk about on the other side of this game, but Garland's role is going to be really good. Right now, Cleveland, they're the 7th seed. They're 2 games behind the Bulls for the 6th seed. Cleveland maybe could still get into the 6th seed, but they still want to try and win games right now because the Nets are only 1 game behind Cleveland. The Hawks are only 1 game behind Cleveland. If Cleveland starts losing games, the Nets could pass them in the standings. The Hawks could pass them in the standings, and obviously they don't want that. So I expect Cleveland to be going all out here. I expect Garland to play 35 to 40 minutes. At 9,400, he's viable. Evan Mobley, assuming he's not limited, I think is a okay play. I definitely like the matchup against Brooklyn and against Andre Drummond. Like, Drummond has never been a great defender, so I think this is a spot Mobley can have some success, and obviously without Jared Allen, the upside is definitely there. More of a tournament play. I think there's a little bit of risk with Mobley just because it is his first game back from injury, but he's playable if there's no minutes restriction. And that's really all that I'm looking to on Cleveland. I don't think anything else stands out here. So let's move on to the other side of this game with Brooklyn. And, very similar to Cleveland, Brooklyn's another team that needs to win games right now. They're tied with Atlanta for the 8 and 9 seed. They basically they have the same record, and they're only 1 game behind Cleveland for the 7 seed. So, Brooklyn right now they're the 8 seed, but they want to continue to win games so that they can keep the 8 seed or potentially move up into the 7 seed. So I expect Brooklyn to be going all out to win this game. I expect KD and Kyrie to both play huge minutes if the game stays close. And Kevin Durant, he's been kind of inconsistent. Like, we've seen these massive games from him. We've also seen some disappointing games against Houston. Against Milwaukee, he was kind of disappointing. But that big ceiling is always there for Kevin Durant, and we know the minutes are going to be there. Look at his minutes over the last 5 games. 39, 45, 42, 37, 42. Like, they have to play Kevin Durant huge minutes right now because him and Kyrie are like they're the only offense they can get. Brooklyn just hasn't been able to get anything else from anyone outside of KD and Kyrie. So I expect both these guys to play huge minutes, and with how much value we're probably going to have today, it's very easy to pay up for at least 1, if not 2 studs. KD with Brooklyn having something to play for right now, KD is a stud that I do like today at first look. And on Yahoo, at $54 over there, I think if I can fit KD in, which, again, it's pretty easy to do so, I like KD quite a bit on Yahoo as well. And then Kyrie at 10-2, I don't mind Kyrie either. Obviously, I don't think I would play Kyrie and KD together. It's really hard for both those guys to put up, big ceiling games at their price tags. But if you want to play one of the two, it's fine. I prefer KD, but I think Kyrie is fine too. We know Kyrie's role is going to be really good. He's played at least 40 minutes now in 6 straight games. Minutes have just been absurd for Kyrie. Usage is going to be great. Again, it's hard for him and KD to both have huge games, but if you want to play one of the two, I think, again, on this slate, it makes a ton of sense. And then outside of the big two from Brooklyn, I don't see anything else I'm loving on the Nets today. Drummond going up against Mobley, like maybe they play Drummond decent minutes here, but his minutes have just been all over the place lately. He's played 20 minutes or less in 3 straight games now, so I don't feel great about the minutes for Drummond right now. Bruce Brown's minutes have still been really good, but I think, playing with KD and Kyrie, it's just really hard for him to put up a big ceiling game, especially because he's, kind of a low-usage player. And that's really it from Brooklyn. So let's move on to the next game, talk about Houston and Toronto. So looking at Houston today, don't love this spot for the Rockets. I think there's a little bit of blowout risk here going up against a pretty good Toronto team, but it is worth noting that Toronto is on a back-to-back, and we don't really know if Toronto's going to be playing their starters today. We don't know if they're going to be resting guys. That's something to monitor. KPJ on this slate at 8,400, I don't think really stands out. He's been really good, especially since Christian Wood got shut down in these last 3 or 4 games he's played without Christian Wood. KPJ has had a massive role. He's been playing huge minutes, and he's been super productive. He's put up at least 42 Draftkings points now in 5 straight games. He's got 50-plus DK points in 4 out of those 5 games. He's got the upside. I just don't love the matchup. And I think if Houston or if Toronto comes into this game fully healthy, if they're playing all their starters, I think this game does carry a little bit of blowout risk. But KPJ, the upside, the role's definitely there. So he's fine. Jalen Green's fine too. The role's very good for him right now. He's put up 40-plus Draftkings points in 6 straight games, just been super consistent, playing huge minutes, taking a ton of shots every night. At 7,600, like, these guys are not, I don't think I'm, like, starting my lineup with these Houston guys, but they are definitely, if I'm hand-building a lineup and I have 7,600 left for guard, I'm totally fine plugging in Jalen Green. I'm totally fine using these guys as fillers, as last pieces. Just don't think I'm building around anyone on Houston. Same goes for Şengün. Like, Şengün's got plenty of upside. He's a really good point-per-minute player. It's 7K. I think he's priced about right on this slate. But obviously the upside's there, and the minutes have been there. The last 2 games he's played 33 and 36 minutes. Şengün's definitely in play. So if I was going to play anyone on Houston, it would be one of those 3 guys, KPJ, Green, or Şengün. Don't think I'd be getting to anyone else, though. And then on the other side with Toronto, so we have no idea who's playing for Toronto today. Fred VanVleet got rested on Thursday, so I'm guessing that VanVleet will be able to play today. Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent, do they play today? I really have no idea. Right now, Toronto has a 2-game lead on the Bulls for the 5 seed, and they're 2 games behind the Sixers for the 4 seed. So the Raptors are basically locked into the 5 seed at this point. Maybe like if they lose their next 2 games and the Bulls win their next 2 games, maybe the Bulls could pass them. But I think at this point the Raptors are they're pretty much like they're locked into the 5 seed. They don't really have much to play for. I don't know how they're going to approach this game. Right now, let's see if there's a line out. So right now, Toronto is favored by 14.5. Like, given they're favored by 14.5, that makes me assume they're playing all their guys today. If that is the case, I mean, it's a really good matchup against Houston. So Siakam, VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent, like these guys definitely have upside and a really good matchup. I think they're all kind of priced where they should be, but would not be surprised to see one of these Toronto guys do well here. I don't think any of them are going to be priority plays for me if they're all playing. But by some chance, if like Siakam rest or Trent rest or Barnes rest, then that's just going to make whoever else is playing look better. I'm assuming VanVleet will be back today. I don't think OG is going to play though. I think OG is going to be out for next 2 games. So OG is going to be out. I expect VanVleet to be back though. Normally when VanVleet's healthy, he's usually my favorite guy to target, especially at his price tag. And guards against Houston is a matchup that I've been targeting all season. So VanVleet might be my favorite Raptor today, but that's all that I'm kind of looking to on the Raptors. If I was going to play anyone here, it would be one of the main starters, either Siakam, VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, or Gary Trent. I think VanVleet's probably my favorite. But let's move on to the next game. Talk about Charlotte and Chicago. So this is definitely a game for seeding purposes that kind of matters. Both these teams I think are playing for something right now. Right now Charlotte is the 10 seed in the East, and they are only 1 game behind the Hawks and 1 game behind the Nets for the 8 and 9 seed. So Charlotte, they're definitely still fighting to try and get up to the 9 seed or the 8 seed. And then the Bulls, on the other hand, they have a 2-game lead on the Cavs for the 6th seed. So I'm guessing, the Bulls, they want to at least try and win one of these last 2 games to pretty much lock in that 6th seed. They might have already locked it in. I don't know. But I think the Bulls are still playing for something. So I do expect this to be a game that, we see the starters play their normal minutes, especially on the Charlotte side. Charlotte's been a team this year. They've been playing their guys huge minutes, and LaMelo should play huge minutes here. Matchup against the Bulls, I think, is fine. The Bulls defense, they're solid, but they're not a team I'm scared of going up against. And LaMelo's just such a good player, has so much upside that he can put up a huge game any night. And we saw him have a huge game on Thursday night against Orlando. Had a big game, went for 58 fantasy points, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 steals. LaMelo always offers that big ceiling, and in a game that should be pretty high scoring against the Bulls, 227.5 total. I think LaMelo's got a big ceiling here, so definitely think LaMelo's in play. He's probably my favorite Charlotte guy if I had to go to anyone. Bridges and Rozier are fine. I know Rozier finally had a good game on Thursday. He's been so bad lately, but he finally played pretty well, had 42 fantasy points in only 26.5 minutes. Maybe that's the start of something good for Rozier. Is 6,800 coming off a good game. Rozier might be my second favorite play on Charlotte, and then probably Bridges. And that's all that I'm looking to on the Hornets. And so we can go ahead and move on to the other side with Chicago. So normally when Chicago is fully healthy, DeRozan, Vooch, LaVine are all in, it's tough to prioritize them at their price tags. But I will say that on this slate, they do kind of stand out as good options because this is a very good matchup against Charlotte. Charlotte does play pretty fast. Defensively, they're just kind of mediocre. So I think these guys have upside. Obviously, I'm probably going to just max one of the 3. I think I would only play one of these 3 guys in a single lineup. I wouldn't play 2 of them, or even, I definitely wouldn't play all 3 in the same lineup. But one of the 3 between DeRozan, Vooch, or LaVine, I'm fine with. Honestly, I think my favorite is probably Vooch. Vooch has just destroyed Charlotte this season. They've played twice this season, and he's averaged 59 DraftKings points per game against Charlotte. I want to pull up the game log so I can see the 2 games he played. Let's see. So they played Charlotte on February 9th. Vooch had 55 fantasy points in 38 minutes. And then they played Charlotte again earlier in the season, and he had, let's see, where's it at? He had 62 fantasy points in 35 minutes. So in the two matchups against Charlotte this season, Vooch has destroyed them. I think the matchup's really good. Charlotte gets killed by bigs. They allow a lot of fantasy points to the center position. Vooch might be my favorite Bull, probably followed by DeRozan, then LaVine, if I had to rank them. But I think one of the 3 is definitely something you could look to if you want to do a little correlated mini stack. Play LaMelo and play Vooch on the other side. I kind of like that in tournaments. I think both those guys will come in at somewhat low ownership today. So yeah, I think Vooch is in play. I think DeRozan's fine. Levine's fine. Would max one of those three guys though, and then I'm not really looking to any other Bulls. I don't think. So let's move on to the next game, Atlanta and Miami. So looking at Atlanta today, another team that needs to win games right now. They are currently the 9 seed in the East. They're tied with Brooklyn. They have the same record as Brooklyn right now, and they only have a 1-game lead on the Hornets. The Hornets are on their tail. So Atlanta needs to win games right now to at least secure that 9 seed or maybe move up to the 8 or 7 seed. I expect all the main guys to play big minutes here, but it is worth noting this is a tough matchup against Miami. Miami, really good defensive team, not a team I really like to target. Trae Young always offers big-time upside, can put up a big game any night. I think on this slate specifically, Trae will kind of go overlooked. I don't expect him to get much ownership at all. It is worth noting that he has really struggled against Miami this season, only averaging 36 DK points through 3 games against them. But Trae's got a ton of upside, can put up a big game any night. Just don't think this is a matchup where I'm really trying to prioritize paying up for Trae. And I'm not liking much on Atlanta outside of Trae. Maybe Capella you could go to. He always offers a big ceiling, but again, don't love the matchup against Bam. Not a spot where I really want to target Capella. So, yeah, don't see much on Atlanta. Trae probably would be the one guy I'd go to if I had to play anyone on this team. But on this slate specifically, I think Trae is just more of a contrarian option. And then on the other side with Miami, so Miami right now, they're pretty much locked into the 1 seed. They have a 2-game lead on the Bucks for the 1 seed. I don't think the Bucks can really catch them. They might can, I don't know. But I would think Miami plays this game normally. We'll have to keep an eye on it. They can maybe rest some guys here, but for now, expecting everyone to play and to play their normal minutes. I mean, the matchup against Atlanta is pretty good, so wouldn't be surprised to see maybe like Jimmy have a good game or Tyler Hero have a good game. Maybe Lowry has a good game, but I've said this before. When all the main guys for Miami are healthy, Jimmy, Bam, Hero, Lowry, it's just tough to predict which one's going to have the big game. Normally none of them really crush. I mean, you'll see some games where Jimmy goes for 50. There'll be some games when Bam puts up a big game, goes for 50. Maybe Lowry has a good game and goes for 40, but where they're priced at, none of them stand out to me on this slate. I think if you're playing a lot of lineups, you can sprinkle in some Jimmy, sprinkle in some Bam, but that's just about it. I don't think, especially not for me me as a person that plays one lineup, I don't think I'm going to be getting to any Miami guys in my one lineup today. So that's really it for this one. Let's move on to the next game. We got 3 more to hit. So Portland and Dallas. Looking on Portland today. I mean, Portland, they're just full-blown, tanking right now. They're playing 12 guys a night. They're spreading out the minutes as much as possible. I really don't want to be targeting many Blazers today. It's a tough matchup against Dallas as well. Dallas plays good defense. They play really slow. If you wanted to play someone on Portland, maybe you could go to Chris Dunn. It is worth noting that Chris Dunn did start over Brandon Williams on Thursday. Does that happen again? I don't know. Brandon Williams came off the bench. We'll have to see if that happens again. I don't think Chris Dunn was that great, though. Yeah, he only played 20 minutes, had 15 fantasy points. So I'm not super excited about anyone on Portland. Right now, Dallas is favored by 17.5. So you would think Dallas should just beat the crap out of Portland here. I'm just not going to do it. I really don't think I'm rostering any Blazers today. Portland and Detroit are 2 teams I'm just full-on fading today, I think. So let's move on to the other side with Dallas. And looking at Dallas, you have Luka at the top, who should crush in this matchup. I mean, Portland is going to have no answer for Luka. Portland is a terrible defensive team. Luka should destroy them. It's just a matter of, can Portland keep this game close to where Luka plays his full minutes? Now, Luka could still crush even in limited minutes. I know there was a game earlier this year, I think it was against the Lakers. There was a blowout. Yeah, Luka only played 30 minutes. It was a blowout. He still went for 75 DraftKings points. I could definitely see that being the case today. Luka could put up 70 in 30 minutes just because Portland's that bad defensively. But I think Luka does carry a little bit more risk than normal just because it's not a guarantee that he plays his normal minutes here. Plus, right now Dallas is the 4th seed and they have a 2-game lead on the Jazz. The Jazz with the 5th seed and they're 2 games behind them. Right now they are only a half a game behind Golden State, so maybe Dallas is trying to win here to move up to the 3 seed. And past Golden State, they might be trying to get that 3 seed. So I'm guessing Dallas is going to be going all out to win this game. But again, there's a lot of blowout risk. I don't know if Luka plays his full minutes. He should be super productive, though, when he's out there. I think Luka's still one of the better pay-up options. I just think normally Luka offers a super, super high ceiling and a super high floor. I think today with the massive blowout risk, he carries a little bit more risk than normal, just a slightly little bit more risk. But I still think Luka's a great option today. Outside of Luka, though, I really don't like much else on Dallas. And normally when Luka, is playing, he's just the only guy that I target on Dallas. I don't really ever go to anyone else. So let's move on to the next game, Phoenix and Utah. Looking at Phoenix today, I'm guessing Phoenix is playing this game, going all out. Right now, they're 7.5 games up on the Grizzlies for the 1 seed. So, like, Phoenix is locked into the 1 seed. They have nothing to play for. I don't know what they're going to do here. Like, do they play Devin Booker 38 minutes in a game that, means nothing to them? Like, I don't know. Like, they might only play Devin Booker 28 minutes here. I think Phoenix guys do carry a little bit more risk than normal just because they have nothing to play for. But if the game does stay close and you get 36 minutes from Devin Booker, like, obviously he's got upside. If you get 36 minutes from Chris Paul, obviously he's got upside. But I think these Phoenix guys are a little bit risky just because I could see Phoenix really spreading out the minutes, maybe playing the bench a little bit more than normal. I don't think it's a guarantee these guys get huge minutes just because right now Phoenix has nothing to play for. They're 7 games up for the 1 seed. Like, they're not going to get caught. So not super high on many Phoenix guys today. Plus the matchup against Utah is not one that I love attacking either. So let's go ahead and move on to the Utah side and looking at the Jazz. So right now the Jazz, like I said earlier, they're 2 games behind the Mavs for the 4 seed, and the Nuggets are only 1 game behind them. So they could definitely, the Jazz can maybe fall down to the 6 seed. I don't know if they want that to happen. So I'm expecting the Jazz to try and win this game to, keep the 5 seed. So we should get full minutes from Mitchell, Gobert, Conley, Clarkson, all the main guys. The matchup against Phoenix is one that I don't love attacking. And I don't think, at their price tags, does anyone on Utah stand out today? Like, not really. Normally when Utah's fully healthy, I just don't really ever roster anyone on this team. I think Mitchell is always playable. Gobert is always playable, but this is a game I'm just kind of avoiding. I don't really know how much Phoenix is going to play their main guys. Utah, where they're priced at, like, nobody really stands out. So not much stands out in this game. I think we can go ahead and move on to the last game of the night, the Lakers and the Thunder. So this is going to be a very interesting one. This could be a full-blown, like, tankathon. We obviously right now OKC is pretty much sitting everyone. Theo Maledon, Poku, and Aaron Wiggins have yet to play the last 2 games. I'm just guessing these guys are like shut down for the season. The fact that they have not started the last 2 games and they have not played just makes me think they're not playing them anymore. So I'm guessing once again OKC is only going to have 8 available players, which would be Roby, Horde, Waters, Krejci, Simpson, Kallistakis, and JRE, or actually Frazier too. So they would actually have 9 players. So I think OKC is going to have 9 available players here. They did just waive Oliver Sarr today, so they're going to have 9 available players, assuming that Maledon, Poku, and Wiggins don't play. Which again, the last 2 games they have not played. I'm guessing they just don't play today. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and just kind of talk through everyone. So Isaiah Roby at 6,800. He's been really good these last 2 games, with OKC running a tight rotation, playing their, these guys big minutes, 43 minutes in that game against Portland. Last game in a tough matchup against Gobert, he fouled out in 26 minutes, but he was really productive, had 35 Draftkings points in that time. Roby, he is a productive player when he does get minutes, and I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity these last few games. And the matchup against the Lakers, probably going to be really good. Like, I don't think LeBron's going to play today. I don't think Anthony Davis is going to play. Westbrook probably doesn't play either, so he's going to be going up against like Dwight Howard and Wenyen Gabriel. Like, this is definitely a good matchup for Roby. So I think Roby's in play at 6,800. Jalen Horde, I like a ton. Jalen Horde's just had a massive role these last 2 games. He's played 46 and 36 minutes, and he's put up 61 and 39 Draftkings points. The production's just been great. The usage has been great. He's been taking a ton of shots. It seems like right now Jalen Horde is just going to play huge minutes every night the rest of the season, and he's still pretty affordable. 5,600 on DraftKings. I still think Jalen Horde looks like a really good option. He's still affordable on Yahoo as well, so really like him over there. $15 at small forward. Assuming they run out the same starting lineup they did last game, I think Jalen Horde is going to be a top option for me. So really like Jalen Horde, really like Isaiah Roby. And then the other guys, Lindy Waters, he played really well off the bench. He got pretty hot. They only played him 27 minutes, but I think Waters always offers some upside if he can get hot from the field. Obviously, it's a concern right now that OKC, they literally are benching guys that start, if you come off the bench and start playing well, you'll literally get benched. That's what OKC is doing right now. I think it was that game against Portland. Waters came off the bench, he hit 2 threes, and he got benched and never played again. It's so funny how they're doing this right now. But I think Waters is viable. Krejci's viable too. Krejci's minutes have been pretty solid. 34 minutes last game. He's still fairly cheap. He's in play for me. Xavier Simpson's been really good. He's a new guy they just got, and he's played huge minutes in the 2 games he's played. He's played 44 and 39 minutes. Right now, OKC's literally signing dudes off the street and playing them 40 minutes. And I think we're just going to continue to see Xavier Simpson play 35 to 40 minutes, and he's only 3,900, so he looks like a really, really good value play today. I like him a ton. I think Kallistakis is in play. I mean, he's cheap, and he's going to get huge minutes. Last 2 games, 43 and 30 minutes, and again, he's still just 3,600, so he's viable. JRE, they said, was on a minutes limit last game. He played 16 minutes. Probably not going to go there if he's still on a minutes limit. He's not viable, but then you have Melvin Frazier. He played 33 minutes last game. He was not that productive, but he probably gets like 25, 30 minutes. I'll say, though, ranking OKC, Horde, Roby, and Simpson are probably my 3 favorite plays, but I think Krejci's viable. I think Kallistakis is viable. If you want to go to Lindy Waters off the bench, I think that's fine too, but there's going to be a lot to like from OKC today. Assuming they're still running just an 8-man, 9-man rotation, there's going to be a lot to like on OKC, and we kind of talked about the guys I'm interested in. Now moving on to the other side with the Lakers. So the Lakers, they sat all their main guys on Thursday against the Warriors, and very funny. At the time I'm making this video, it was halftime. Let's see what it is now. So right now, let's see if it'll load. When I started making my video, the game was at halftime, and the Lakers were only down 3 to the Warriors at halftime. I don't know why the score's not loading right now. Okay, so now they're down 10, but I mean the Lakers, they played pretty well. Like, I can pull up the box score. Malik Monk's got 21 points. THT's got 21 points. Dwight Howard's got a double-double. Reeves had a good first half. He hasn't done much in the second half though. It looks like the Lakers basically are running a 9-man rotation for Thursday's game. They started Monk, THT, Howard, Reeves, Stanley Johnson, and then off the bench, Wayne Ellington, Gabriel, Augustine, and Bazemore. So I'm guessing we see the same thing today. I don't know if LeBron, AD, or Westbrook played today. I doubt they do. Carmelo was a late scratch Thursday, and does Carmelo play again this season? Probably not, just because they have nothing to play for. I really think that so this game against OKC is their second to last game, and then the Lakers do play again on Sunday against the Nuggets on the road. So this is the Lakers' last home game this season. Maybe the starters play. I really don't know. My best guess is that right now I'm expecting LeBron, AD, and Westbrook to all sit again, and if that's the case, I mean, you're going to have to look to a lot of these Lakers. Malik Monk, right now, he's having a really big game, and I think he's going to have a good game once again against OKC, a really good matchup. He's going to have a big role. He's going to play big minutes if the game's close. For 5,600, assuming that all these guys are still out, I think Malik Monk looks like a really good play today. I like him a ton on both sides. And then THT, once LeBron, AD, and Westbrook got ruled out, THT became the best value play on the slate. He's crushing right now. He's got 21 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. If all these guys are out again, THT should once again have a huge game, and he's only 3,800 on Draftkings. So he looks like a great value play. He's really cheap on Yahoo as well. He's still minimum salary over there. So, yeah, I love THT, love Malik Monk. I think Dwight Howard, especially with how well he played on Thursday in a good matchup against OKC, this could definitely be a good game for Dwight Howard. I think he could benefit. He's viable. Austin Reeves, not having a great game right now. He had a good first half, but hasn't done much in the second half. He's still playable. Stanley Johnson's still playable. Winning Gabriel off the bench is fine, but I really think I'm going to be looking at Monk, THT, Howard as my 3 favorite plays from the Lakers. But this just all depends on if LeBron, AD, Westbrook, Carmelo play. If they're all playing, then obviously just scratch everything I said, because then it just completely changes. But for now, with nothing to play for, in a game against OKC, obviously a game, who cares? You're playing the fucking Thunder. The only reason I would think they maybe play today is just because it's their last home game, so maybe they want to get out there for the fans. I know LeBron doesn't need to play in 2 more games to qualify to win the scoring title. Right now, LeBron is leading the league in points, and if he wants to win the scoring title, he does have to play in this game and their game on Sunday. Maybe LeBron plays to win the scoring title. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. For now, I'm expecting everyone to be out again. If they are, we talked about how the guys I like and who benefits and who I'm going to be targeting. If they play, we'll readdress things in the stream on Friday. But for now, I'm expecting everyone to be out, and there's going to be a lot to like on the Lakers. Once again, this is definitely going to be a team we want to look to for value. But that's all that I've got for today's slate, guys. That's what I've got for these 9 Friday night games. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, like I said, this is my last video for the regular season. I won't be making a video Saturday or Sunday. And then next week, the playoffs start, and I'll definitely be making content for the playoffs. I don't know when the play-in is. I think the play-in starts Monday or Tuesday. I think there might only be 1 game a day for the play-in tournament, so I don't think I'll make content for the play-in just because there's only going to be 1 game a day. But when the playoffs officially start, I'll definitely be making content then. Obviously, like I said, I don't think I'm going to be streaming, but I'll still be making videos, making prospects videos. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed all the NBA content this season, all during the regular season, and hopefully you'll enjoy the content that I make during the playoffs as well. Still going to be pumping out NBA pretty much till the end of the season. I'm going to be making NBA content, and then after the NBA season ends, we'll address things. Maybe I'll start covering MLB. Maybe I'll just take the summer off. I don't know, but appreciate you guys tuning into the video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well. Go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. If you have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, use promo code NOAH. When you do, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And again, you can take a look at PrizePicks board for Friday night's games. Right now, there's not much up on the board, but they'll obviously get a ton added as we get closer to tip-off Friday night. There'll be a lot of props you can choose from. You're just picking over or under. Very simple, very easy to use. Sign up, use promo code NOAH. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But that's all I've got for today, guys. Best of luck on this Friday night slate. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here next week when the playoffs start. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and best of luck tonight. Peace.